Welcome everybody. Added Thoughts Entertainment. James, your favorite recovery junkie, back in the house. You know, some like to say, James, I'm an alcoholic, addict, whatever, or I'm in recovery, or grateful recovering alcoholic. However you want to say it. Hey, it is what it is. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. I want to talk today a little bit about bullying. You know, I see some things on the internet with cyberbullying and, you know, different things going on in this world as technology, you know, gets more and more. But I remember a time when I was little, I was in grade school in Detroit, and, you know, the kids, they used to pick on me and bully me. I would get beat up or stuff taken from me. Some of the kids even went as far as said their parents know my parents, and if I didn't do what they say, my parents would be dead when I get home. And I remember, you know, I'd cry. I'd be waiting on my mother to show up. My mother walked and picked me up in those days, and she would walk to school and pick me up, and I'd be just bawling until I seen her out there, because I didn't know if these kids, you know, would kill my parents or whatever they said they was going to do. So I remember it being real traumatic for me, real traumatic. And, you know, that carried on in my adulthood, and I didn't have the greatest childhood either. So at home, things were bad. You know, it was a lot of trauma at home with my father being an alcoholic and, you know, my mother doing what she does, codependent. And so at that time, there was a lot of trauma in my home, as well as I'm going to school now and I'm getting bullied by these kids, you know, daily, picked on daily. And so it was real traumatic for me, and I carried that into my adulthood. And as I discovered alcohol and drugs, you know, the alcohol gave me courage. You know, they don't say liquid courage for nothing, because when I drank alcohol, I had all the courage in the world. I feared nothing. And so I would get myself into these situations, and the alcohol also fueled my mind to say, nobody's going to take advantage of you or bully you anymore, you know, and would give me that false courage and that false sense of being a man and that false sense of, you know, power and strength. And I thrived on that. And so all throughout my life, I used fear as a way to get respect. And I wasn't getting respect. I was getting, you know, feared. As long as you didn't know what I was capable of when I was in that room, I felt like that was respect. But it was just fear. You know, and it got to the point towards the end, nobody wanted to be around me or hang with me because I just acted too stupid. I acted too crazy. You know, I always had something to prove, or someone to fight, or someone to argue with, or punk somebody out, because that made me feel more like a man. But in actuality, it was making me less of a man. And nobody respected me. You know, nobody respected me. And I was just always that scared little kid trapped inside, you know. So I would get these tattoos, you know, all these tattoos all over my body and on my face and neck, because that's for the fear factor. That's for this dude's crazy factor. That's for, I don't know what this dude's going to do factor. You know, the more crazier I could look, the more drunker I could get, the more courage I had, the more fear I could still in you, and the more power I could have. In actuality, I had none of that. You know, and now later on as we go through life, I'm getting judged by these tattoos and by my appearance. You know, many people ask me all the time, what'd you go to prison for? How long did you do in prison? What prison were you in? Never been to prison. Never been. These were all masks to hide that scared little boy that was really, truly inside. You know, I'm a loving, caring, giving person that shows empathy. You know, and that cares what happens to people and tries to help people today in my recovery. It's who I've always been. But in alcohol and drugs in my system, I turn into somebody totally different. I turn into that selfish, self-centered motherfucker that don't care about nobody, whether you live or die. As long as you can give me something and I can benefit from our relationship, you good, hang around. But the moment you can't, I got no use for you. And that's not me. So if you're out there and you're getting bullied or doing the bullying, you know, it affects you for life. It really does. It's another added layer of trauma that can affect you for life. And you throw alcohol and drugs on top of it, and you get a recipe for disaster. At least in my case. So if you're out there bullying or getting bullied, reach out. If you're getting bullied, reach out to somebody. Let somebody know. Talk to somebody. Let them know what's going on for you. And if you're doing the bullying, you're just a fucking coward. Deal with your own self. Take a look in the mirror and deal with the issues that you're dealing with so that you feel like you don't have to pick on somebody else to make you feel good. Because it's the same as drugs and alcohol. You're looking for an exterior thing to make the interior feel good. Work on the interior. Then the exterior you'll be happy with. Addict Thoughts Entertainment. Like, share, subscribe. I'm trying to make this thing go to 1,000 followers so that I can start getting on here live, taking your questions, and we can just chop this thing up about recovery all night. So pump it up to 1,000. Everybody like, share, subscribe to the page. Let's make some of this stuff go viral. Let's get it going. I want to start talking live with y'all. I want to put the live on here so I can answer y'all questions and we can chop it up for real. So let's go. Stop that bullying. Cowards. And if you're getting bullied, talk to somebody. Seek help. I'm out. Addict Thoughts Entertainment.